Most people believe a fall happens because of a slippery rug, a stray pet, or a missed step. They're wrong. The real danger, the one that actually threatens your independence, starts long before you ever reach the kitchen. It's hiding in what I call the 5-minute blackout. That is that treacherous window of time where you move from horizontal to vertical without re-authorizing your nervous system. If you're over 70, you've felt it. You wake up. You feel that heavy, leaden sensation in your legs. You stand up, and there's that early morning sway that forces you to reach for the dresser just to steady your world. Your doctor tells you to just stretch. I'm here to tell you, stretching is a trap. Think about it. Pulling on cold, dormant muscles is like yanking a brittle plastic zip tie. It doesn't make it flexible, it makes it snap. In these first few minutes of the day, you don't need to be limber. You need to be electrified. Today we are going to bypass the morning shuffle and install the Unbreakable wake-up protocol. This is a 6-step tactical reboot that turns your internal power grid back on before your feet even hit the carpet. We're moving beyond survival mode. We're moving into a state of operational readiness. By the end of this session, you'll have a blueprint to hot wire your body for total autonomy. Let's get to work. While you sleep, your body enters a state of metabolic conservation. Your glutes, which are quite literally the engine room of your entire musculoskeletal system, go into a deep sleep hibernation. When you wake up and immediately stand, those muscles stay asleep. Now, physics doesn't care if your glutes are awake. Gravity is still pulling on you. So, if the glutes aren't doing the work of holding you upright, your lower back tries to do their job. This is the primary reason why so many people feel that nagging backache by 9 a.m. It's not old age, it's a delegation error. Your back is doing a job it wasn't designed for. The blueprint, the neural handshake. We fix this with the foundation reboot. 1. The setup. Lie flat on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the mattress. 2. The secret. Before you move an inch, I want you to crush the walnut. Squeeze your glute muscles with 100% intensity. This is what we call the neural handshake. You are sending a high voltage signal from your brain to your backside saying, "Wake up, we have work to do." 3. The action. Drive through your heels to lift your hips into a bridge. The mistake most people make here is pumping the reps. They lift, drop to the bed, rest, and repeat. Don't do that. To weld what I call your glute armor into place, you need sustained tension. Keep your hips hovering just 1 inch above the mattress between reps. Do not let the power leak out by touching the bed. We're looking for 12 reps of controlled, pressurized movement. Imagine a tall building with a weak foundation. On a calm day, it stays up. But the moment a gust of wind or a slight trip happens, it topples. By activating the glutes before you stand, you are effectively bolting your building to the bedrock. Bridge technique, the re-hook. Now, having a strong foundation is vital, but a foundation that can't move is just a statue. Before we move on, consider this. How often have you felt like your feet are actually magnetized to the floor in the morning? In the next chapter, we're going to look at the executive override to break that magnetic pull and delete the shuffle forever. Have you ever experienced that lag where you tell your foot to move, but it feels like it weighs 500 pounds? That isn't a lack of strength. That is a signal lag between your motor cortex and your hip flexors, specifically the psoas. The psoas is the command center for your gait. It's the muscle that initiates the step. If that signal is weak, you don't step, you shuffle. And a shuffle is just a fall, waiting for a reason to happen. We're going to perform an executive override. 1. The blueprint. Lie flat and tilt your pelvis back until your spine is pressed firmly into the mattress. There should be zero light between your lower back and the bed. This creates what I call a power corset, stabilizing your core so the hip flexors have a solid anchor to pull from. 2. The execution. Perform high-intent marches. Bring one knee toward your chest with surgical precision. This isn't a casual movement. Imagine you are lifting your leg through thick honey. 3. The goal. Hold that peak position for 2 full seconds. Most people toss their legs around. When you do that, momentum takes over, and your brain stays disengaged. By holding the peak, you are reclaiming the limb. You are telling your brain, I control the start, the middle, and the end of this movement. We're aiming for 20 reps. This deletes the magnet foot glitch by ensuring the neural pathway for stepping is wide open and clear of any overnight static. I once worked with a gentleman who had to hand walk across his furniture every morning because his legs felt disconnected. After 3 weeks of the executive override, he realized he wasn't weak. His brain just hadn't authorized his hips yet. He stopped grabbing the furniture because his brain finally trusted his legs to lift. Bridge technique, the re-hook. So we've woken up the engine and cleared the signal to the legs, but even a fast car won't run if the gears are seized up. Now let's look at this differently. What if that bone-on-bone feeling in your knees isn't permanent damage, but just a lack of internal hydraulics? Let's talk about the synovial flush. Waking up with glass knees or stiff ankles is rarely about the bone itself. It's about joint stagnation. Over the course of 8 hours of stillness, your synovial fluid, the natural oil in your joints, turns from a thin, slippery liquid into something resembling thick molasses or cold honey. Think of a dry sponge. If you pull it hard while it's dry, it tears. But if you wet it first, it becomes indestructible and flexible. We need to hydrate your joints using friction heat before you put your full body weight on them. We use a technique called heavy heel slides. 1. The setup. Stay on your back. Straighten your legs. 2. The execution. Keep your heel dug firmly into the mattress. Now, slide that heel toward your hip, slowly. 3. The metaphor. Imagine you are dragging a heavy iron chain through wet sand. You want resistance. You want friction. 4. The result. That downward pressure generates biological heat. That heat thins the joint sludge, turning it back into high-grade lubricant that coats the cartilage. Don't just slide your foot back and forth. If there's no pressure, there's no heat. If there's no heat, the fluid stays thick. You need to actively push into the mattress. Perform 10 pressurized slides per leg. If your hamstrings feel like they're working, you're doing it right. If you have diagnosed osteoarthritis, this step is your best friend. Most people with arthritis try to save their joints by not moving them. That is the opposite of what you should do. Movement is medicine, but it must be unloaded movement. Movement without the weight of gravity. Doing this in bed allows the joint to oil itself without the grinding pressure of standing up. Bridge technique, the re-hook. Your joints are now lubed and ready to glide, but there's still a problem. Your brain needs oxygen and blood to make split-second balance corrections, and right now, all your blood is pooling in your torso. Before we move on, consider the morning fog. In the next chapter, we're going to activate your auxiliary engine to pump that blood exactly where it needs to go. Your heart is a masterpiece of engineering, but it's a long way from your feet. When you've been lying down for hours, gravity isn't helping your blood return to your heart. When you stand up suddenly, your blood pressure can drop, a condition called orthostatic hypotension. This causes that lightheaded feeling or morning fog. To fix this, you need to activate your auxiliary engine, your calves. Your calf muscles act as a second heart. When they contract, they mechanically squeeze the veins and siphon blood back up toward your brain. Forget about wiggling your toes. We need to treat your feet like pistons. 1. The execute. Lie with your legs straight. Slam the gas pedal down. Point your toes away from you as hard as you can. 2. The recoil. Pull your toes back toward your shins until you feel a burn in the front of your lower leg. 3. The cadence. We want 20 rapid-fire, high-intensity pumps. The goal here is volume. You are trying to move as much fluid as possible. If you do this correctly, you will feel a literal warmth or a tingling sensation moving up your legs. That is your circulation being pressurized. This clears the morning fog instantly because your brain is finally getting the oxygenated blood it was starving for while you were horizontal. We've all had that moment. The phone rings or the doorbell sounds, you jump out of bed, and the world spins for 3 seconds. That spin is a vulnerability window. In those 3 seconds, you could fall. The pressure pump eliminates that window. You are pre-pressurizing the system so that when you stand, your blood pressure remains rock solid. Now that the blood is flowing, we need to talk about the vertical thrusters. These are the muscles that determine whether you rise from a chair or struggle out of it. Let's look at how to lock in your independence insurance. Sleep naturally forces us into a closed state. We tend to curl up, our shoulders round, and our chest collapses. When you wake up in this position, your lungs can't fully expand. You're taking shallow survival breaths, which keeps your cortisol, stress hormone, high and your energy low. We need to unzip your thoracic spine. 1. The setup. Roll onto your side. Stack your knees and stack your hands out in front of you, like you're a book that's closed. 2. The execute. Take your top arm and arc it across your body toward the floor behind you. Follow your hand with your eyes. 3. The result. You will feel your chest peel open. As your arm reaches the furthest point, take the deepest breath of the day. Fill your lungs until you feel your ribs stretching. This drops your cortisol levels and spikes your morning energy. It tells your nervous system, the hunt is on. We are safe, we are open, and we are ready. Perform 5 reps per side. You have just transitioned from vulnerable to fortified in exactly 5 minutes. Think about what you've just accomplished. Foundation. Built. Your glutes are online. Brain sync. Connected. Your feet are no longer magnetized. Hydraulics. Lubed. Your joints are gliding on fresh fluid. Circulation. Pressurized. The morning fog is gone. Thrusters. Armed. You have the power to stand. Oxygen. Full tank. Your brain is alert and focused. By the time your feet touch the floor, you aren't just awake, you are operationally ready. You aren't surviving the walk to the bathroom, you are commanding your movement. This protocol works, but only if you use it. Don't wait for a close call to start taking your morning transition seriously. If you're ready to stop the shuffle and reclaim your status as a high-performance mover, hit that subscribe button and join our community of resilient movers. We don't just age, we evolve. Stay resilient, stay upright. I'll see you in the next session.